Okay, so picture this. An 18th century horse, the Godolphin Arabian. How does one horse end up being so foundational for, well, all of modern racing history?
Right. It's astounding. One of the three key stallions for the entire thoroughbred breed.
And then, how does someone take that history, which
Yeah.
could be pretty dry, just documentation, and spin it into this incredibly moving, uh, award-winning story for kids?
That's the magic, isn't it? That blend of hard history and deep feeling. That's the rhetorical power we're really digging into today with Marguerite Henry's King of the Wind.
Exactly. And as we explore this amazing book, just a quick note on how we're doing this. Enjoy a bold new take on book coverage with this extended analysis.
Yeah, it's more than just a summary, though we do include that too.
We really examine how the author builds their argument, gains influence, and, earns or maybe loses your trust.
The goal is to give you tools, really. Tools to read with sharper insight, maybe greater discernment.
Thinking about reading this book, well, this should definitely help you decide. And it's great for aspiring writers, too.
Absolutely. And if you find this expanded format useful, please let us know. Your feedback really does help us figure out future content.
And just so you know what you're hearing.
Right. You are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation. This is powered by Google's NotebookLM, and it lets us get into a deeper, more dynamic book analysis.
So our mission today, analyze King of the Wind. It came out in 1948.
Yeah.
That timing is pretty important, actually.
Why in 1948 specifically?
Well, think about it. Post-World War II America, there was this real interest, this hunger almost, for international stories, for cultural exchange.
Ah, okay, so Henry was tapping into that.
Exactly. And she had this tricky job. Write an adventure that grabs kids, say 10 to 13-year-olds, but also deliver something solid and educational enough for the adults who are probably buying the book.
That's a tough balancing act, a dual audience, really. And she pulls it off mainly through credibility, what we call ethos. She built trust right away. Through just incredibly thorough research. Henry wasn't just making things up.
Right. I read she was born back in 1902, published her first article when she was just 11. This was her life.
It shows. The sources consistently say her books are meticulously researched, fact-based. That's the foundation of her credibility. People trusted her history.
So where does the story part come in, the imagination?
Well, that's the interesting part. Her imagination wasn't for the big plot points those followed the known history of the horse.
Oh.
She used it more subtly to fill in the human interactions, the feelings, the dialogue between the historical signposts.
I see. So the core journey is factual, but the experience of it is brought to life.
Precisely. And that commitment to historical accuracy builds enormous trust. Parents reading it felt good about it. Kids got a real slice of history, not just a fantasy tale.
So, okay, primary goal. Entertain and educate kids about horses, loyalty, resilience. But what was the bigger picture, the sort of lasting reason for writing it?
The exigence, as rhetoricians call it, the urgency behind it. It seems pretty clear it was about preserving equestrian history.
Preserving it? How?
By telling the origin story of the Godolphin Arabian. This horse's bloodline is fundamental. It shapes almost every thoroughbred racing today. Henry wanted to make sure that critical piece of both sporting and agricultural history didn't just fade away.
Wow, okay. That adds a whole layer of importance. It's not just a children's book.
Not at all. It's a historical document in narrative form.
All right, let's shift from that credibility, the ethos, to the heart of it, the pathos, the emotion. How does she create such a powerful, almost desperate connection to this horse and boy?
It really boils down to the bond set up right at the start, that connection between Agba, the Moroccan stable boy, and the colt, Sham.
And she grounds that bond at a specific moment, doesn't she?
Yes, in that incredibly powerful, almost prophetic promise Agba makes.
That's the quote everyone remembers, right?
Exactly. Agba says, "My name is Agba. Ba means father. I will be a father to you, Sham, and when I am grown, I will ride you before the multitudes.
Goosebump stuff.
And they will bow before you, and you will be king of the wind. I promise it."
That's not just dialogue. It's like a narrative contract with the reader.
A contract? How so?
It tells you exactly what needs to happen for the story to resolve, and all the tension comes from the huge obstacles thrown in the way of fulfilling that promise.
Okay, but that sounds like it could easily become, well, overly sweet, sentimental, a typical boy and his horse's story. How did she keep it from feeling like that?
Great question. She did it by making the journey incredibly harsh but realistic. The emotion isn't cheap. It comes from genuine struggle and survival.
So Sham isn't treated like a prince the whole time.
Far from it. He's often treated like cargo, neglected, even mistreated, especially on his journey across continents. Think about his time in France. His value is completely overlooked by the royals.
Right, the focus is on fancy gifts, not the horse itself. Exactly, and that honesty about 18th century realities, the hardship, the indifference, it stops the story from becoming syrupy. It builds real empathy, earned empathy. The eventual success feels deserved because of the struggle.
That makes sense. And didn't she use some literary tricks too? Symbols, things like that?
She did, very effectively.
Yeah.
It's quite sophisticated for historical fiction aimed partly at kids. She uses symbolism to build that sense of destiny and foreshadowing.
Like what?
Well, there's the white spot on Sham's chest that comes to represent his speed, his destiny, and then the wheat ear symbol on his shoulder. That symbolizes the difficulties, the hardships he's destined to face. It's clever foreshadowing. It keeps you invested, rooting for Agba's promise to come true, despite all the signs pointing to trouble.
Okay, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk structure the logos, the logical appeal. This is where she weaves the history, the summary part, into the actual story structure. How did she organize this huge sweep of time and geography?
It's fundamentally chronological, which serves the historical purpose perfectly.
Meaning it just follows the timeline.
Exactly. It mirrors the real journey of Arabian horses moving into European breeding programs. We follow Sham meticulously from 18th century Morocco through the French royal courts, his time there, and then finally his rather quiet arrival and eventual, almost accidental recognition in England.
But there's a framing device too, isn't there? The book doesn't just start in the 1700s. That's something critics noted as quite clever.
Yes, that's a really smart piece of narrative engineering. She actually opens the book, just briefly, in the 20th century.
Why do that?
It grounds the story in the present reality of horse racing, showing the legacy first. Then, bam, she throws you into this long flashback detailing the Godolphin Arabian's origin.
Ah, so it gives context right away. Scope.
Precisely. Historical scope. By showing the modern significance up front, she gives younger readers, especially, a solid reason to care about this history that happened centuries ago. It creates anticipation for the how it happened, not just the what.
It's like saying, see these amazing racehorses today. Here's the incredible, almost unbelievable journey that made them possible. And that framing really works.
It does. And that logical structure, that historical journey, is constantly reinforced with authentic details from the period.
Which boosts the credibility again.
Absolutely. You get accurate descriptions of 18th century royal courts, the real difficulties of sea travel back then, the rigid social hierarchies. She educates you about things like horses being used as diplomatic gifts, all these cultural practices, but without ever really stopping the adventure, it's woven right in.
That blend of solid history and compelling story reminds me. We should mention something quickly.
Ah, yes. Mindful Moments. That's our YouTube channel. It offers AI book analysis, summaries, critiques, really good stuff for inspiring reflection and rational thought.
Yeah, a great place to go after this discussion for more analysis. Okay, moving deeper into style now, let's talk characters. For a book centered on a horse, the characterization feels surprisingly complex. She avoids making the animals too human, right? Anthropomorphism.
Critically important, yes. She avoids that trap. Sham acts like a horse. He responds to his environment, to training, to kindness, to cruelty like a real animal would.
But you still feel his personality.
You do, but it's revealed through the human perspectives, mainly Agba's. Through Agba's devotion and observation, we see Sham's innate qualities, that fierce loyalty, his determination, his resilience.
It becomes more than just a pet owner thing.
Much more. It's portrayed as a deep partnership, almost a friendship, forged across species and cultures, really rooted in mutual dependence and survival.
Which brings us back to maybe the most striking narrative choice she made, Agba being mute. Why do that? Why make your central human character unable to speak?
It's such a powerful rhetorical move. Think about it. By removing Agba's spoken voice, Henry forces the reader and the other characters to focus entirely on his actions, his intentions, his nonverbal communication.
Like in real horsemanship.
Exactly. That unspoken bond, body language, touch, sensitivity, that's paramount when working with horses. Agba's muteness underscores the physical reality, the felt connection of their relationship, rather than relying on dialogue to explain it.
Huh. So taking away his voice, actually, gives him a different kind of voice, a more universal one.
I think so. His loyalty, his commitment, they're shown through touch, through action. That's something anyone anywhere can understand instantly, regardless of language or culture. It's quite brilliant, really.
It makes the story accessible across boundaries.
Totally. And beyond that, Henry's writing style, her diction and tone, maintain this careful balance throughout.
How so?
The language is clear enough for young readers, definitely accessible, but it doesn't shy away from sophisticated emotional depth. And she handles the different cultures respectfully, even when she's depicting the hardships or, frankly, the ignorance of the time. There's honesty, but no condescension or inappropriate sanitizing.
So, wrapping up the effectiveness and legacy,
Mm.
it seems clear she nailed it. She hit that dual goal.
Absolutely. The historical credibility, the pathos, the logical structure, it all came together. Earning the Newbery Medal certainly reflects that. She managed to deliver substantial historical education, wrapped up in a genuinely thrilling adventure.
And it had a lasting impact beyond just being a good story.
For sure. The book plays a key role in cultural preservation, like we talked about, making sure the origins of modern racing weren't lost to time. And for American readers back then, and even now, it offered valuable perspectives on global connections, all through the lens of one boy and one incredible horse.
She really created a blueprint, didn't she? A model for educational literature that respects the history but also connects deeply with readers generation after generation.
A truly durable model.
So what's the bottom line here for you, the listener? King of the Wind isn't just a classic children's book. It's a masterclass in how to weave fact and feeling.
Its power doesn't come from fantasy. It comes from how Henry used meticulous history and genuine emotion to make the 18th century feel immediate and unforgettable.
The real takeaway might be that history doesn't have to be boring.
Not at all. By grounding this epic destiny in a simple, heartfelt promise between a boy and a horse, she set a standard for history telling that still holds up today.
Great stuff. Okay, click the link on screen for the in-depth book summary. Don't forget to subscribe, share, maybe purchase the book via the link, and always think rationally.
And check out the many other genre-based book podcasts over at Mindful Moments. Subscribe and nurse your mind on the go.